We are back, ladies and gentlemen, for my personal favorite videos to make, and that is Fullback Friday. Now, the point of this series just remains, like it always has been, is to bring these guys in the spotlight and show how versatile and talented these guys are that we really don't talk about. And this week's episode, we will be touching on none other than the fullback spokesman, the real estate guru, Chipotle lover, Keith Smith for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, Keith was born in Pomona, California, and would get into football around 4th grade. From there, his pedigree would be established, but not as a fullback, but as a linebacker. All the way through high school, even to college, and when he was taken in the pros, he played linebacker. He was a good one. He was a solid linebacker. As a senior in high school, actually, he won Defensive Player of the Year for the Miramont League at Charter Oak High School in 2009. From there, he would go on to play 4 years at San Jose State and only missing one game in his 4 years as a player, totaling almost 500 tackles while he was there, and just really showing that he's just a football. He's a football player, true football player, real big football guy. Going into the pros, he would go undrafted in 2014, but was signed as an undrafted free agent to the Cowboys, where he would play linebacker for them. So thanks to a lot of injuries in the linebacker core, he played in a significant amount of games. He appeared in 10 games as a rookie, which is, I think, a pretty solid number, especially for an undrafted guy. And then in 2015, this is finally the season when the transition started to be made to him into a fullback. So at the end of the season, Jason Garrett asked him to play fullback. He loved what he did in the special teams unit and thought that he would be able to have more involvement on the team if he switched to this position. Obviously, Cowboys have had pretty good linebacker play over the years. Sean Lee, Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch now. So, they just really liked Keith as a player and wanted to get him involved more, and that's what they opted for. So then in 2016, he was in a 3-way contest for the position and beat out 2 other guys for the job, like the beast he is. And then he would block for Ezekiel Elliott in his rookie year when he ran for an absurd almost 1,700 yards and 15 touchdowns. And I want to like to think a lot of that was because of him. Next year, still was the starting fullback, kept the job. And even when Zeke was injured, team still had success running the ball behind Alfred Morris. And again, a lot of this was by that great Dallas O-line and the guy up front leading the charge, Keith Smith. And then, unfortunately, the Cowboys would let him walk. They did not sign a franchise tender to him, and he got picked up by the Oakland Raiders. He played a year for the Oakland Raiders before, in the offseason, a knee injury sidelined him, and then stellar rookie Alec Ingold would end up taking his roster spot due to being on a more team-friendly contract, as well as being available. But in 2019, he would sign with the Falcons, and I think this is where he really came into his own and became the best version of himself as a player. He was just useful all around for them. A great special teamer, always being in the top 4 tacklers on special team, as well as having 2 forced fumbles in 2019, his first year with the team, and really just showing them, this is what you got in me, a guy who can do it all, a Swiss Army knife of sorts. And every year since he's been there, they've gotten better at running the football. It started with guys like Devonta Freeman and Todd Gurley, but now with guys like Cordero Patterson and Tyler Algier, they've really come into their own. And I think a lot of that is because of having such a solid blocker up front, especially in those goal line situations that Cordero Patterson now has made a career on with the Falcons. I mean, it just seems like any time within 5 yards of the goal line, he's getting one. And I think a lot of that is because of the success they have up front. He's now going into his 10th year in the NFL, which again, in a sport where the average career is only around 3 years, that's an insane number to reach for any player, let alone a guy who is playing a lot of snaps, being on special teams as well as offense. He's on the field a lot. And so I think that really just speaks to the determination and hard work that he shows, despite so many people just not even knowing his name. And now to go to his off the field exploits, where I think he's just as legendary. He's truly just shown to be very versatile, and obviously he's very smart, and his off-the-field exploits are very vast. For starters, he's the spokesman for the fullback position as a whole, like I said in the title, and he started a clothing line called Make Fullbacks Great Again. Now, I love it. I personally have the hat, and like I've worn in a few of these other Fullback Friday videos, I own one of them. I own the hat. And it's amazing merchandise that supports the greatness that is the fullback position. And I own this hat and I love it. And it's one of my favorite hats because it just shows how awesome they are. And I think it brings attention to them, which they deserve. On to the next thing. He's a real estate guru. I looked up on his Instagram page just to try to get some more information for this video, and he's a part of a real estate investment group. And I don't know anything about that personally, but I mean, impressive that he knows that. And if all of that wasn't enough, he consumes an absurd amount of Chipotle that even I can't emulate, and I eat about as much Chipotle as anyone. He said in an interview about how he'd eat it up to 5 times a day. People kind of laughed and called, were like, there's no way. So then he sent bank statements to these companies showing this is how often I eat it. And over one insane 12-day period, he ordered $430 of Chipotle. And even in doing this, remains in peak NFL shape. His nickname is also Beef, which I just think is hilarious. I couldn't get a definite reason as to why, but I mean, it's even his Instagram profile name, so he obviously goes by it. So yeah, I just think, be it off or on the field, Keith Smith is dominating at everything he does. And I think he's integral part of the process that is fullback preservation, and I salute him for that, and I'm glad that he does that. So let me know what you think. I know this is one of the more unknown of the fullbacks I've covered as a whole, which again, always surprises me that these guys don't get talked about more. I mean, even a guy who's been in the league for 10 years, you probably don't even know his name, which is, I just think, crazy. So one of the reasons I do this series and why I love it so much. It's awesome. These guys are all so cool. I'm glad to give them a spotlight. And it's always fun for me doing the research and learning even more than I already know about these guys. But feel free to like, comment, and subscribe too. That really helps. Again, like the last few videos, I'm going to link below. Me and my friend Wilson do a podcast about sports. So if you want more content of mine, that's a great avenue to go. And we really appreciate any support on that. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.